Konnichiwa. Thank you for visiting my site. My name is Kayoko Yoshikai. Health is found in nature is my favorite saying. Today, I'd like to introduce Giles Fabrice. He's a former British national skydiving champion and world record holder. Tell us your background, Giles.
Hi, my name's Giles Fabrice. I was born in London, England, and grew up in Europe. And currently I live in sunny San Diego.
What is your accomplishment?
Well, my accomplishments are I was the British national champion for many years and a world record holder in skydiving, and really was part of the skydiving push to create a new sport called free flying and explore the possibilities in the sport of sky surfing.
How many times have you jumped?
Well, I've got about 5,600 regular skydives and probably another couple of thousand other more specialised skydives, so between 6,000 and 7,000 skydives total.
What made you first jump?
Well, I first jumped in order to raise money for the Royal Society of Mentally Handicapped Adults. Just did one jump and loved it so much I thought maybe I'd do another one.
Did you like heights? Did you use jump off from a roof with a cape on your back?
Well, I haven't jumped with a cape yet. The truth of the matter is I was actually, and this will make everybody looking laugh, I was actually deathly afraid of heights, very much so to begin with.
How did you overcome the fear for first jump?
Well, what I learned was that sometimes the signal we get in our brains doesn't serve us, and that often there's a difference between actual perceived risk and real risk. So something that may seem much, much lower risk, say like driving a car fast on a motorway or a highway, would seem to be much lower risk than a pursuit such as skydiving or bungee jumping. And once we actually look at the real risk, we often find that our perceived risk and our real risk is very different. So the first thing I had to do was really make myself aware that the fear I was feeling wasn't always real, that often skydiving is much, much, much safer and much more fun than the average person would think.
What made you keep going to jump?
That's a great question. I think the first time I jumped was really to see whether I could do it. Once I'd made my first jump and realised that I could push myself through an experience to be able to do it, I became really interested in the psychology of what was going on when you were preparing to jump. I really became very interested in the way that people cope under stress. So that was very interesting for me.
When was your first jump? How old were you?
My first jump was in the early 90s. And like I said, I only originally planned to make one skydive, but like I said, I found it so fascinating that I thought I'd do another one and another one and another one. And there I am several thousand jumps later, still jumping.
What was your motivation to jump for first time?
Well, the first time I jumped to raise money for a non-profit that was supporting people with Down syndrome. Now obviously I was very scared the first time I jumped, but I felt that it was important to get over my fear to be able to help people with Down syndrome. So I jumped as a first jump as part of a promotion to raise money, and I really put my fears aside in order to help people with Down syndrome.
Is there anything you did day before or in the morning routine?
That's funny, because thinking back, I was so scared. I used to drive to the skydiving centre and I was terrified, but I was always really determined to get past that fear. I mean, now it seems very funny looking back on it, as I'm sure many other skydivers will remember their first days when they were terrified.
So once you got over the fear, did you start creating routine for yourself?
Yeah, well, I think after I realised that there was a difference between the actual risk and the perceived risk, then that really helped me relax and really enjoy what skydiving was all about. For me, a huge part of skydiving was what I call mental preparation, in terms of what's commonly known as visualization today. I would spend many hours rehearsing a particular skill or a particular move, something that I'd accomplish in freefall. And obviously it's less expensive and more effective to practice a skill again and again and again in our minds than it often is to do it for real. So for me, visualization was a huge piece of training and preparation. All skydivers will really spend a lot of time running over a routine, for example, pulling a specific handle in a specific order again and again and again and again, to ready themselves in the case that they did actually need to pull a reserve handle, an emergency handle. So for me, visualization is huge. Often we don't quite understand how it works, we just know that it does work.
Please join us for second segment. Giles will talk about most challenging experience he had. Thank you for visiting my site, kayokoyoshikai.com.